You know what's on my mind? Being authentic. Here on my daily thought bubble. Nowadays, because of social media, I think so many people are having a hard time being authentic, being their true selves. I mean, imagine every time you post, you get a like, you feel good, you get a quick dopamine fix, and then you start thinking that that's what you want to post where you can get a lot of likes, a lot of engagement, and it makes you feel good. And you start posting because of how people make you feel, because you feel accepted, because you feel liked. And because of that reason, you start shifting the focus from your core, from your true self, to your ego. Because what it does is it satisfies your ego. And when you start doing things because of your ego, you start sacrificing your true self. And you start living a lie to a certain extent, or you start living for others. And that's when it becomes scary. Now, I've actually dealt with that myself, the question of authenticity. Am I being authentic? When I decided to post videos on YouTube and on my social media, that was a very big question that I had for myself. If I was being authentic when I post videos, when I speak like how I'm speaking right now to you, is it authentic? Is it really how I am? And looking back, there is a need for all of us, myself included, to want to feel like people think you matter, or when people appreciate what you do, or when people acknowledge what you do. And when you're not getting engagement, it feels bad. You know, your ego is bruised. But then when you start working from your core or from your true self, when you start becoming authentic with how you are, it doesn't matter anymore. As long as you're doing what you really want to do and what satisfies your core or your inner self versus your outer self. And how do you know when you're authentic or not? I think nobody else can determine that but yourself. That when you're doing something that deep down you know is how you really are, then that's your true self. When you're not doubting yourself, when it doesn't matter what other people say or think about what you're doing, then you're probably working from your authentic self. Sometimes you do something and people don't think you're authentic. And there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to do what you believe is your authentic self. And the hard part is assessing that, because sometimes what your ego is telling you is your authentic self is not your authentic self. It's your ego telling you that. And you start to think your ego is your authentic self, or your outer self is your authentic self. But that's really a mask you wear for everyone. And I did struggle with that, because I even asked myself that question. Am I just speaking out of my ego, or am I really like this, how I speak right now? Is this really my authentic self? And I realize it is my authentic self, because I speak my mind. I don't care what other people think. You could think I'm wrong. You could think I'm right. It doesn't really matter. You could bash me. You could hate me. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as I do this because I believe I'm living my authentic self, and I can somehow touch people's lives, even just one person who's listening right now, who's maybe having a hard time or grasping the idea of being authentic. And if they stop living from the ego and start living within their inner self, then hey, I've done my job. And that's good enough for me. So when you want to live in that authenticity, my suggestion is you follow your gut, what feels right for you. That's one way to do it. The other way is try doing something that is against the grain, or something that's not a popular thought or opinion, and speak out. I mean, if you really believe that thought, if you have a thought that's not what everybody's saying, and then you speak out, then you're most likely speaking from your authentic self. It takes a lot of awareness to be able to do that. And that's not easy, by the way. It's not easy at all. And it's something that you have to practice on a daily basis. And authenticity is that practicing it every day and finding out what is authentic and what's not in you until you get to that certain place where you start to really understand who you really are. So, for everyone listening, I hope you guys find your authentic self. Not work from the ego, not do anything for the ego, but work for your inner true being. And that's my daily thought bubble for today. Follow me on IG at I am Kristen. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel on the link below and click on the notification bell so that you are notified of any new videos. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.